So today we're looking at the brand new Nissan Qashqai. Qashqai started off in Australia in 2006, originally under the Dualis badge, then moved quickly to the Qashqai badge in the second generation, and today we're looking at the third generation, which is the Nissan Qashqai. It comes in 4 different versions: the ST, the ST Plus, the STL, and the TI. The one we got here today is the TI. It comes in a range of colors, and the one we have here today is called Burgundy. It also comes in a range of color to rooftop color variations. So you can go for a solid color, or you can go for a body color with a black roof. And there's different combinations of those as well. We do cover quite a lot in these videos, so if you do want to skip ahead to something you're more interested in, have a look at the chapters. Looking at the front of the car, there's a lot of really interesting angles. Everything seems to be swept back and very much in tune with the modern day look of cars, where manufacturers try to make them look like they're moving even where they're standing still. It's got the distinctive Nissan front grille, so the V-shaped front grille, but in this instance they've chosen to let it flow into the headlights as well. So the styling of the headlights and the front grille all tie in very nicely to these styling lines, which then sweep back into the back of the vehicle. Looking at the front headlights, you do have LED daytime running lights on the vehicle. You also have high beam assist. And in addition to that, for the first time in the Qashqai, they've introduced dynamic headlights. So Nissan says that they've got 12 different lights that are actually positioned inside this headlight. And each of those 12 lights are dynamic, so they're able to shift, they're able to switch on, switch off, so that they're always directing themselves around other cars and other. The other really nice thing that they've done, and for the first time, the first that I've seen on a vehicle, they've embossed the Qashqai logo into this little section of the grille. Your front sensors, very well positioned. You've got one on the 90 degree and on the straight, and then again 2 more in the front, and again on the 90 degree and the straight. Even the lines of the fog lights are marrying in with the lines of the front grille and continue the same silver styling through the front fog light LED. This V-shaped section of the front grille is not just a styling cue, it is actually open all the way through and acts as an air vent to ventilate the front discs. The underneath grille here is open, and I'm suspecting, just from the look and design of the front Nissan logo, that all the smart cruise control sensors are actually fitted in just behind this logo, because I don't see the traditional radar box at the bottom over here like I see on most of the other new cars. Piano black finish on the front grille, and again the styling lines that just tie in with the front grille and run all the way around the sides of the vehicle. So these vehicles are fitted with what Nissan calls intelligent mobility. They integrate the intelligent cruise control, the intelligent forward collision warning, intelligent rear automatic braking, emergency lane keeping, and their forward brake and junction assist. The combination of all these systems is what Nissan calls intelligent mobility, and it makes the car much safer and much more responsive to its environment. So the Qashqai comes with 2 different powertrain options. The first is a 1.3 litre 4-cylinder 110 kilowatt turbocharged petrol engine, which is matted to a CVT gearbox, the traditional Nissan continuous variable timing gearbox. The other option the Qashqai comes available for, which is still hasn't hit Australia yet, but is on the cards to arrive here soon, is the Nissan e-Power. And that is Nissan's unique version of a hybrid, which uses a petrol engine to power 2 electric motors, which then drive the engines. The way I understand it, it is a permanent electrically driven vehicle, and it only really uses the engine as a generator to keep charging the batteries. The wheel arches are one of my favorite features, mainly because they're just big enough so that you know that they're there, but they're also really small enough so that they're not making an overstatement. They are actually black. On the darker colors like the burgundy today, this silver finish that runs all the way through the bottom of the glass over here does become more pronounced and ties in very nicely with the top roof rails. So really, whichever color you go for, if you go for the darker colors, you'll get a more pronounced finish of the silver finishes, and if you go for the lighter colors, these darker black finishes around the bottom and the piano black finish through the glass here that actually tapers in really nicely to the back there, those will become more pronounced. The door handles are color coded. They also have proximity sensors and keyless entry. Looking at the alloy rims, you've got 3 different options, starting with the ST and a 17-inch alloy. Moving up to the ST Plus, you get the 18-inch alloy. And from the STL and TI, like we have here today, you have the 19-inch alloy. Your side view mirrors are color-coded, and you also have the 360-degree view camera. You also got privacy glass on the rear windows. This little panel that at first glance seems to just be a black styling finish to finish off the rear windows, is actually a third little small glass panel. So that is going to help with visibility and improved blind spot visibility. Looking at the rear doors, they have been designed same as the X-Trail. So they have what Nissan calls an 85% opening angle. So just shy of the 90 degree, but for all intents and purposes, virtually a 90 degree opening angle of the rear door. It's well done the way that they've integrated all the styling lines from the front of the car all the way across the side of the car and brought them together at the back, where they really all just merge and join up and finish right onto the Nissan badge, and underneath it the Qashqai badge. A quick shout out to our sponsor today, Southern Vales Nissan, for making this beautiful vehicle available to us. The back of the vehicle has got a 6 sensor system. I do prefer it when they've got a 6 sensor system. It means that they can get the 90 degree really well, and then they've still got 4 sensors to get the rear of the vehicle. This TI also has a unique finish at the bottom of the grille, which is this gunmetal finish of this rear fender. At the top we have the dolphin fin aerial, as well as a very well designed and swept back rear spoiler, as well as your high mounted stop line and 2 very nice styling lines. So the rear tailgate is a power tailgate. Similar to the X-Trail, the Qashqai uses what Nissan calls this compartmentalized boot system, which allows you to really design your boot space with these removable pieces over here that can be removed and easily stowed away, thereby increasing your load volume. So once you've removed these panels, you then have this little catch point here which allows you to lift and access your spare wheel section. The vehicle is fitted with a temporary or space saver wheel. It does have these really well designed sections that fit in nicely around the spare wheel and give you these little storage spaces for things like your wheel spanners and the rest of your tools, your jack, your eye bolt, and all the other bits and pieces that you would need. The other function of this modulated boot design is that if you did have to have a puncture and you had to put the spare wheel in here, it does mean that the storage blocks that fit in just over the top there would be able to compensate for a full-size spare wheel and still allow you a flat loading area. Just like in the Nissan Z, you've got this Bose speaker that is positioned in the middle of the spare wheel here, making real clever use of that otherwise wasted space. Parcel shelf is really easy to unclip with these very basic little clips. You just push them to the 90 degree there and there, releases the parcel shelf. What I like with what they've done with this one is they've actually given it these grooves and these divisions, and what that serves to do, similar to corrugated iron, it just gives it that extra strength and extra form and stability. It does mean that if you push down a little bit, this would probably be able to handle more weight than a regular parcel shelf. It is also easy to remove just by tapping it up and out. You got a 60-40 split on the rear seats. You got 3 different tethering points, which means you're able to put a child seat in any one of the 3 rear seats. Those clips for dropping the rear seats are click and release. So as soon as you clip them past a certain point, it actually just spring-loaded seat, it just pivots it and lands it to the front. So no need for you to actually force it forward or do any kind of manual handling on that rear seat. So sitting in the back of the vehicle, keeping in mind that the Qashqai is classified in the micro SUV segment, there's really a lot of legroom here at the back of the vehicle compared to most other cars in this segment. So that's something that really jumped out at me and impressed me. You've got these map pockets that sit 2 USB charging points, a USB-A and a USB-C. The center armrest is also fitted with an airbag, so Qashqai is actually equipped with an additional airbag that sits between the driver and passenger occupants. The center armrest, situated just here, comes down nicely and is quite wide, and has also got 2 different cup holders. In the TI that we have here today, we do have what Nissan calls a 3D quilted finish to the leather seats, so it is very stylish and very pretty. You've got 3 3-point seat belts at the back, ISOFIX points, and keeping in mind that this is the TI, so it does have the panoramic sunroof, and I've still got a fair bit of headroom at the back here with only just the top of my hair that's actually touching. They haven't done a hard lid here, so that's done 2 things to the back of the vehicle. One, because there is no hard lid, they've actually allowed more headroom because they don't need as much space to tuck away a hard lid. And on top of that, I'm assuming that this hard lid is retracting into some kind of roller system at the back here, because it's actually pulled back all the way to here and has created a true sense of me being able to look straight up into the sky from the back seat of the car. because they've used this one single piece retractable sun visor, there's no need for a center piece to the roof, which gives you just one single sheet of glass running all the way through the car. So you've got a completely unobstructed view. On the flip side of that though, is that the roof doesn't actually open. It doesn't tilt and it doesn't open halfway. So it's really just a glass roof designed for you to be able to look out of the top of the vehicle, but it doesn't open in any way. So starting with the rear armrest over here, well positioned and wide enough to have space for both the driver and passenger. High quality finish all the way along the center console. The area that your knee would kind of rest against on long drives is well padded. Your 3D quilted leather seats in the front with white stitching running all the way through it. Looking at the front dash, the car is actually fitted. The TI comes standard with a leather finish on the dashboard, so that is something new, a very high quality finish for the front dash, along with the same white stitching running through it in a nicely designed zigzag line. Just a little bit below that, you have this really modern looking, not even really sure what to call it, I guess. It kind of looks something a little bit between army camo and just some really modern digital lines and stuff. I don't know what to call it, but I really like it. And just underneath that, we've got this silver aluminium finish that runs all the way from that side, tying in the front dash all the way to the driver's side. So again, some really well thought out lines that kind of blend in really nicely with each other. You've also got your glove box, the Qashqai logo on the carpets. On the side door, you've got your Bose sound system that is standard on the TI, along with the leather finish and leather trims all the way through the doors and the silver finishes around the door handles. TI also comes standard with 8-way power seats for driver and passenger. A nice little touch there. In addition, the TI gets heated seats, and on top of that, it also gets massage seats. On the driver's door, we've got the 4 electric window as well as the child lock for the rear electric windows. We've got your folding mirrors, your electric and heated mirrors on the TI, as well as your central locking buttons. You also get on the TI memory seats with 2 positions. Coming across to the front dash, you've got your steering assist button, your auto start stop button, your park sensor button where you can switch the park sensors on and off, and you've got your power tailgate button over there. These 2 little buttons over here are your rear stat switch to brighten and dim your dash display. So Nissan Qashqai is equipped with ProPilot, this blue button. By touching that button, you activate the Nissan Intelligent Cruise Control steering assist technology, and it also includes a stop and hold function that brings the vehicle to a full stop. So essentially, ProPilot brings all of the advanced driving features together to act almost as a highly advanced driving aid. So Nissan is equipped with 2 different view modes. So first of all, let's just touch on the fact that this is the TI, so it does get the 12-inch digital screen. The other models get the 7.8-inch digital screen. You can actually change your screen display view. It does have 2 separate options. So this is the one where it gives you a more traditional rev counter on the left-hand side, speedometer on the right-hand side, and information panel in the center. You can also change the display to this view, where it kind of gives you this 3D effect and kind of moves the speedometer and the rev counter sort of aside into a 3D view into the side, giving you a much bigger center panel that gives you more information. Now that center control panel can display all sorts of different information depending on what it is that you select. This center panel allows you to get access to this range of information. So you've got your home screen there, you've got your trip settings there, tire pressure warning settings over there. This is your smart cruise control settings, your audio settings, your ProPilot settings, and your actual vehicle settings, where you can go in and start tweaking all sorts of ESP settings, driver assistance, personal display, heads-up display. The heads-up display is worth mentioning. It is standard on the TI model, and what I like about the heads-up display, it is a traditional reverse mirrored heads-up display. It doesn't use one of those little screens that pops up and then you kind of just have to look at the little screen. Those little screen ones tend to not give you that much of a heads-up display because you're still just kind of looking at a screen. This one is that reverse mirrored heads-up display where all the information that you're looking at is actually sitting directly in your line of vision. So a really sophisticated and high quality heads-up display that comes standard in the TI. You can also adjust the brightness, the height and the rotation of the heads-up display through this little menu. So from the ST Plus onwards, you get this 12.3-inch touchscreen, which is panoramically mounted. So some manufacturers go for portrait, others go for panoramic. We've got it in the full navigation view, where you can set a home location. You can also locate your nearest petrol station. So down the side here you can access notifications. You can also press the home button to take you back to your original home screen. On your home screen, once you collect a device, that will come up over there. If you're using wireless Apple CarPlay, that device will pop up there. Now the TI model is wireless, but from the ST is plugged in Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So they all have it. Just depends if you're going wireless or plugged in. So the main menu buttons for the screen are actually down the side here. So that's the home button. That'll take us back into the navigation screen. This little button will take you to your radio and audio settings. This one will take you to your phone settings. We haven't actually connected a phone in this instance, so there'll be nothing to display there at the moment. And this little final button just takes you into a more general settings and system settings buttons and functionality. It also has down here some old school analog buttons. The first one is your volume control, as well as a power button so that you can switch off the radio if you need to. It's also got a nighttime driving mode and dimness switch, or you can just press it to switch it off completely and it goes into like a dark mode. So if you are doing long distance night driving, that would be a good screen to be able to switch off so that it doesn't tire your eyes out while you drive. To get it back up, you just simply press that button and it will resume. These are track selection buttons, and this is your 360-degree view camera button, which gives you, depending on what gear you're in. At the moment we're in park, so it's giving us a front view and a 360-degree view. This little button over here is on the TI only, and what that one does is it actually allows the car to detect parking spots and it will actually park the vehicle for you. You got a heated steering wheel on the TI, your air recirculation. I like that your aircon controls are all analog and manually controlled over here. It makes it a lot easier while driving to operate analog switches rather than digital switches. You've got your heated seats that can be controlled over there, as well as all your aircon airflow direction indicators, rear demisters, front demisters, and max aircon settings. You've also got dual climate control, and you've also got a sync. So if you don't want to use the dual, you can just sync it. And over there, you can just switch the whole system on and off. Over here, you've got a 12-volt power point. This little indicator, as soon as you put a phone that is wireless charging capable, that little indicator will light up. This is the park button. It's the same button as the button at the top there, but just an analog button, I guess, to complement the digital button, your start-stop button over there. You'll notice that there's no USB A or C charging ports over here, and that's because TI is fitted with wireless charging. However, if you do want, inside the center armrest, there are charging points. Your electric park brake with auto hold is situated just over there, and the Nissan e-shifter that they've introduced now in all their latest models, so straight out of the X-Trail and all the new generation models of Nissan are using this new e-shifter. So really it just shifts forwards and backwards without really ever changing position, so it's all electronically controlled. And it's also got the side button here which will allow you to shift into reverse. Anytime you've stopped the car completely and you just want to put it into park, simply press the park button. And just behind that you have your drive modes. So this vehicle is fitted with 3 different drive modes. In standard mode, you can scroll up to sport mode, or you can scroll down to eco mode. Another clever little thing, and something that I really appreciate, is that they've actually mounted the e-shifter in a very centralized position, which doesn't end up disadvantaging right-hand drive cars, which always seem to get the short end of the stick of the ergonomics when they convert from left-hand drive to right-hand drive. So the clever positioning of that ensures that nobody gets disadvantaged. Moving backwards from there, you got your 2 cup holders and then your center armrest. Once it's open, inside there you got a USB A and a USB C charging point, as well as these clever little grooves that run through left and right there, so if you were charging a phone you'd be able to run the cable through there while still closing the center armrest. Now the center armrest does actually have 2 clips, so if you, depending on which clip you use, it depends on what you're going to find when you open it. So over here it's got another clever little storage compartment which you can actually, once closed, clip it and it stays with the lid and then gives you access to the deeper storage compartment. So very cleverly designed there. Right, so just pulling off driving the Qashqai literally for the first time, and the first thing that jumps out to me is how quiet and responsive the engine is and the accelerator. Now I'm in just the normal driving mode at the moment, and even if I change the mode into sport, it's still a very quiet ride, but the accelerator becomes just a little bit more responsive and a little bit quicker off the mark. You can definitely feel that CVT gearbox working, so there's never really that sense of changing gears. There's always just that feeling that the gearbox is always just increasing and decreasing its range, depending on what you're asking of it. So it's a very smooth drive, very comfortable. From sports mode, we can pop it into eco mode. Once we go into eco mode, the accelerator just becomes that little bit less responsive, kind of forcing you to think about using that extra fuel, and not always just jumping it at a quicker acceleration. Definitely feel it in eco mode as you try and accelerate, and it's got that much softer, smoother pull off. So once you've stopped and slipped it into reverse, you do have to use the button on the side of the E-shifter to get it into reverse, just there. Once that's done, it kind of detects that I'm on a left-hand side curb, so it brings up my 360-degree view camera and as well as all my park lines. As soon as you start reversing, you can see those dynamic lines that are letting me just slip comfortably into this little parking spot. Just there, and straighten up the car. Now you do get those dynamic orange line over there that kind of follows your steering wheel. And kind of point you in the direction that you're going. That orange dynamic line also is superimposed there on the 360-degree view, and it's always just kind of telling you where the position of your steering wheel is. Now when you're dead centered on your steering wheel, like I am now, that orange line disappears from the park sensors, just there. So as we move, there you see it appearing again. What I do like is that it's got the auto hold button over here. Some of the more modern cars have moved the auto hold button into the digital display, which isn't great, because especially when you're in a parked situation and you want to get out of a park, you want the car to be edging forward and you don't want to have to be tapping the accelerator every time you wanted to move. So I do find taking auto hold off is really handy when you want to come out of a park, because it allows you to pay attention to the road rather than have to constantly tap the accelerator to move. So compared to the X-Trail, I'd say that the Qashqai is probably a little bit smaller. It's in what I've kind of classified as the micro SUV segment, where X-Trail would be in the small SUV segment. X-Trail, I guess, would probably be a little bit more lifestyle focused, more, strap your kayak to the roof of the car and head out into the wilderness. Where the Qashqai, I feel, is more of a city car. It's more of a take the kids to school, get yourself to work, go and do some shopping. It's really well designed and put together for that type of city lifestyle. The TI also comes with mood lighting, which can be set through the onboard computer over here, and it can take you through all different settings, different brightness settings, different color settings, and I really like that. And I like how that couples in with this panoramic roof that they've put in. They call it it is a sunroof, because of course it is a sheet of glass that runs through the whole of the roof, but it is unique in that it doesn't open, and it doesn't tilt. There's no opening functionality, but that does give you more headroom, because it means there's less mechanisms, and it also gives you a nicer, brighter, clearer view, because there is no center pillar running through the glass roof. Overall, I've really enjoyed driving the Qashqai. I've loved doing this review. I find that the car is really modern and really in keeping with what a third generation vehicle of this class you'd be looking for. It's packed full of features. If there's any other vehicles you'd like us to cover, leave that in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, because your support really is important to us. Thank you for watching.